Welcome to day 5 of our 28 days of connections, and today we're going to do a short practice just to shake off the working week, as it were, and help us feel a bit more relaxed and a bit more cleansed before we move into the weekend. So we're going to start standing, and we're just going to again come to ground ourselves on the mat. So really mindfully placing your feet on the ground and then just having a play around with your feet, just to see what it feels like to just plant yourself and your weight on the ground. So maybe moving a bit from side to side, you can lift one leg, lift the other leg, just becoming very mindful about the rooting down through the mat. And then we're just going to start by taking a few twists. So you can start small because we haven't done much of a warm up yet in our backs or anything. So just be mindful that you're twisting. So just go gently to start with. And just moving. And then as you feel more comfortable, a little bit warmer, then you can start to move around a bit more. Take your arms up if you want. Just moving, twisting, giving yourself a bit of a pat as you go round. You might want to get a bit faster. You might be feeling a little bit slower today, so just go with how it feels for you. Just twisting, building up a little bit of energy, and then coming just to pause and just noticing, hopefully already, how you've just started to get your energy flowing around your body. Perhaps you've been static a lot of today. And then just beginning with your hands, just start to give everything a bit of a shake. So starting with your hands, moving to your wrists and your arms. Just give everything a bit of a shake. Then maybe moving into your torso, and then into your legs and your feet. And then you can start moving around a bit. Shaking, and then you maybe want to go down. Just shaking, shaking. This is going to make a great clip for anybody. Just shaking everything off. Shake your hair, maybe jump a little bit now. Shake everything off. And stop. And pause. And now come to your breath. Using that breath practice we've been doing this week, if you can, just to bring your breath back. So inhaling and then exhaling for slightly longer. And with each exhale, you can maybe just sigh it out a bit. Just let go of how the week's been. And that doesn't make the assumption that the week's been a bad week. It's been a great week. And really what you're just doing is sending out that positive energy. And then taking a deep breath in, reaching up to the sky, stretching up, allowing yourself to feel that nice stretch down both sides, lifting up as much as you can out of your pelvis, Trying to create some space down the back of your spine, and then very slowly coming into a forward fold. And as we do this, as I said before, if you almost imagine that you're bending your knees, so don't imagine going down like this with straight legs, bend your knees so that you come down, keeping your back as flat as you can, and then coming down into the fold, and then straightening your legs, and just trying to keep your back nice and flat. And then coming down, folding down, and then coming into a nice flat back, and folding down. And just letting it all hang out here for a while. You can maybe move your arms, move from side to side, and then coming back up into your standing pose. And you can bring your hands into prayer if you wish. Now I want you to try and just to create some energy in this standing pose. So although we feel still, I want you to begin at the feet and begin to engage your muscles. So really pushing down through your feet into the ground to turn on your lower legs, and then begin to tense, or just not tense as such, just sort of engage your muscles in your legs. Just so you start to feel supported, and then engaging your core, so pulling up from your pelvic floor, wrapping your mid section. And it's not about breathing in and holding yourself in, it's just about engaging those muscles, and then moving up through your chest into your arms. And because your hands in prayer, you can actually use your arms to push against, just to create some tension. So you should feel nice and strong, as if someone were now to come over and push you over, they wouldn't be able to move you. That's what you're sort of looking for. You'd be really rooted and strong. And you should feel that that's taking some energy to do that. You're no longer passively just standing. So just taking a few breaths in this posture. Just keeping all those muscles engaged. And if you feel like you've lost one, just going back to it and re-engaging it. And then let everything go with an inhale and a big exhale. And dropping your arms, give yourself a little bit of a shake. And then we're just going to walk down, so make our way down in whatever way is suitable for you. And we're just going to walk ourselves into a downward facing dog type position. So whatever the best way is for you to get into it, you can come down and then come back up. But just finding your position from a different angle. So we're so used to sort of getting into a position from a certain angle that we kind of learn to do it in a certain way. So sometimes if we do it a bit differently, it feels a bit strange. So just sometimes using our muscles in a slightly different way. And then again, taking a few breaths in and focusing on engaging those leg muscles. Engaging those arms. And then taking your right leg up, and then having a little bit of a, just moving that right leg around. And then doing the same on the left. So sort of stretching right into that leg. Keeping the right one as straight as you can. Then coming down. And then dropping slowly to your knees. And coming into your cat-cow. And just take a few movements here, just to really stretch out your back. You can do these as slow or as fast as you feel today. You might be feeling very sluggish and just want to work through things slowly. You might be feeling a bit more full of energy. But whichever one you do, I want you to focus on that movement of the vertebrae in this position. And when you're in this cat-cow position, sometimes you might start to notice other parts of your body. So you can begin to come off that position and just maybe start to move into just feeling into your body a little bit. So maybe circling your hips a bit, moving your head. Or you can just stick with your cat-cow if that feels good. It's just noticing your body, noticing where I might want to move. And then now we're going to just stretch out our shoulders a little bit. So bringing your arms slightly more to the center of that, taking your arm through the gap and coming down to rest as best you can on your shoulder. And just allowing that to stretch through. And taking about 3 breaths here. And then gently uncurling yourself, maybe taking a little bit of a stretch in the middle. And then coming to do the other side. Bring your right hand to the middle this time, and then coming through and just watching your hips as well. There's probably a tendency for them to stick out to the side, so just try and keep them in line. And then coming back through and maybe taking another stretch back. Really stretching out into those shoulders. And then coming up. And have I got my, where it is? Okay. So we'll come down to a seated, legs out in front. And again, as we did with our mountain pose, so our pose where we've stood, I want you to just begin again by bringing some tension into the body. So just curling your feet up, sort of tensing the legs, tensing the bottom, tensing the torso, wrapping the abdominals around, and then just maybe again use your prayer position for your arms just to bring that tension in. And then just breathe with that tension. And it's not, what I don't want you to be doing is like really squeezing hard. It's not a tension, it's just an activation of your muscles, I guess is what you'd call it. And just use the breath. to get the oxygen moving around your body. Try and make sure you're sitting nice and upright. Couple more breaths. And then inhale. And let it all go with a big sigh. And then we're just going to come to a seated forward fold now. So if you just want to bring your legs in slightly, depending on your flexibility, you may well be able to go straight into a straight leg forward fold. But again, so we want to be thinking about not rolling our backs forward. It's about keeping the forward fold ideally should bend from here. And we always have a tendency to bring our shoulders forward because it makes it easier. We feel like we're going to get down further. But really, the benefit you're getting is actually from pivoting at the hip here. So seated nice and tall and straight as best you can. And then you can hold on to your shins or whatever, and just begin to lower yourself forward, trying to keep your back as straight as you can. And you might not be able to get very far with a straight back, but you should be able to feel it in your hamstrings and the backs of your legs. So always think about keeping your chest up, not dropping like this because you can get further. You should notice the difference in the tension and the stretch from focusing on this area, the hip being the pivot point, not here, not the lower bit of your back. Try and think of your back almost as like as straight as you can. You should be able to get the tension, the stretch, almost without having to come down in that way. And then come back up. And then just shake the legs out. Shake your feet. Do your arms. Your hair. And then make your way down with your knees up. And this time, from your knees up, I would like you to open out your knees, so in like a butterfly leg position with your feet together. And this is a really nice one for relaxing. So just coming into this pose now. And even in the short practice that we've just done, you should be able to notice a slight change in your energy circulation around your body. I always think of it as like the echoes of the practice that remain. And this just laying here, just allowing your hips to naturally open. And again, a really nice opportunity to practice those longer exhales. And then it's entirely up to you. You can continue to lay in this position if it's comfortable. You can now take the legs out into your corpse pose. And the invitation here is now just to allow yourself a couple of minutes just to lay and enjoy the feeling of the end of the week. And hopefully you've now completed up to your 5 days of different types of connections. But the most important connection of all we can make is connecting ourselves back into our own internal power source. And that's what this gives us an opportunity to do. It's almost as if you're plugging yourself into the mains electricity. Not that I'm recommending you do that. And people often skip this part of the practice because they feel like, well, I've done the work now. But this is almost where the work really begins. And you just have to sit or lay and relax. So you can stay here for as long as you like. Thank you for joining me for day 5. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for day 6.